Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me this morning on my broadcast for seniors on topics for seniors. We've covered wills and trusts. We've done some insurances. In a couple weeks, we're going to have more insurance, the insurance agent coming back to talk about insurance. Just a few seconds about me. I've been doing Medicare services for about 10 years now. I just started this week studying for 2021 products that will be out from the insurance carriers for Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, and Medicare prescription drug plans. But as I say every week, I'm not here to talk about Medicare this morning. We're going to be talking about why it's important to exercise, why it helps you stay youthful. I'm going to introduce you to Drew Mercury. I've known Drew for, I'm guessing, over 4.5 years now. I've been working out with him about 3.5, 4 years. And one of the questions that Drew asked me when I first started working out with him, what was important to me for a personal trainer? And the question, my answer to that question was, I like a trainer that is observing what I'm doing so I can grow and improve, and Drew does that. He helps me grow and improve. And because I am a senior, it's so important. So before we get into why we should be exercising, what I want is have Drew introduce himself. I want him to say why exercising, being a personal trainer, is important to him. I think sometimes it's his passion, even though I know he has other interests. And how long has he been doing this, and why he decided to do this, before I start asking him questions about why it's important to exercise. Hi, Drew, introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Drew Mercury, and boy, that's a lot of questions to start off with, but I'll try to answer all of them. So I've been a personal trainer for 16 years now. About in my early 30s, I was looking to change in a career path and wanted to do something that I love to do. And I've always been into physical fitness and exercise and working out and playing sports. And so I thought the first thing I thought of was to become a personal trainer. So I took a certification course that I thought was fairly detailed and intricate, because I had heard that there's some trainers that take like a weekend course or an online short course and get certified. And I was looking for something more really, informational and intense, and also just really taught me the business. So I took a course through the National Personal Training Institute, which was 500 classroom hours and 500 hours on the gym floor, which took about 6 months. Worked for a mid-sized gym for about 2 years, and then after that decided to go off on my own. And I've been having my own personal training business at a private gym in Newport Beach for the last 14 years. What I love best about my job is honestly working with people like you, Janice. I mention you to a lot of my other clients whenever they try to give me the excuse of, Drew, I'm just too old for this kind of stuff or something. Your name always comes up, because I said, I have this client, Janice, and she would argue with you on that point. So I really love just working with people wherever they are in their life, in their physical fitness and their health, and taking them to whatever level they are possible of achieving. And I love getting people to do things that they aren't aware they're capable of doing. I like helping people maintain a quality of life. And I also, the last 5 years or so, I've realized that working with a trainer and in a gym is not for everybody. So when you ask the question, why is exercise important? I think it's important to realize exercise does not just mean working with a trainer in a gym or working on your own in a gym. It can be walking, it can be yoga, Pilates, stretching, playing a sport. There's so many different aspects of exercise that are out there. Hopefully I answered all your questions.
Yeah, you did, and more.
Okay, great.
Okay, so we can tell that you're enthusiastic and you're passionate about what you're doing. But as we all know, for as long as I can remember, I've been told exercise is important to do.
Sure.
But, and as become a senior, and I'm definitely a senior, and one of the things I have fun with Drew is that I know to a lot younger people than me, and people are wondering how old I very shortly will have lived 3/4 of a century.
Yeah.
So very soon. So,
Cheers to that.
so I know that you wake up in the morning, you can have an ache and a pain here, and I know exercise alleviates that. But even though we know that how important exercise it is, people just don't do it. They choose not to do it. They don't like to do
Some
it.
people.
Okay.
Yes, some people.
So you started talking about a few seconds ago about why exercise, why should people exercise? Can you go into it a little bit
Absolutely.
more?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
number one, the human body is designed to move. It abhors not instability, non-movement, and just sitting around. It craves movement. That's what it's built for. And as far as the benefits of it, the other thing before I go to the benefits, though, when you said a lot of people don't like to exercise, that's what I wanted to really just stress as anybody listening is if you don't think you'll like going to a gym and working out in a gym, there's almost every person has at least one active thing they enjoy, whether it be, like I said, walking or tennis or stretching or something. So I definitely encourage people to do that. But as far as some of the benefits of exercise, I mean, it can help lower your blood pressure. It helps you stabilize your sugar levels and your insulin levels. It strengthens your cardiovascular muscles, your heart and your lungs. It also just, it changes your mood. It's a de-stressor. I mean, there's so many things, but also mentally and emotionally, there's so many benefits as well. And then of course the traditional weight loss. But bottom line, all those things come down to it improves the quality of your life overall, and it just makes life more enjoyable. And I don't know about you, but I think we were meant to enjoy this life, and you're more apt to do that if you're in good shape. So that's my answer to that.
Yeah, well, I know that for me, when we're working out, one of the things that I always enjoy about the workout one is when Drew says to me, "Oh, I can see the definition there, Janice," and I'm going, "Yay!" But while I'm doing it, I'm like, "Okay, he can see the definition."
Well, that's the one
But
thing
I'm
I didn't
still
mention.
going through it, and then all of a sudden he will raise the bar on me, and then I have to work out harder. But if I was just starting to work out, okay,
Right.
what would you recommend if you're just starting to work out? Let me go back a little farther. When you
Sure.
first start working out with somebody, are you evaluating them to see
Oh,
what
absolutely.
their levels are? Are you asking them, do you have a knee problem, a hip problem, a shoulder problem, a
Yes.
spine problem?
Yeah, so on our first session, I basically call it like an initial consultation. We get some exercise in, but usually it's a good portion of it spent with, depending on what their goals are. If they're looking to lose weight, I will obviously weigh them. I will probably measure them if they're looking to lose inches. I definitely ask them any injuries or limitations I need to know about. Even if they think it might not be important, I want to know as much as I can. I may assess them as far as just walking. I might have them walk across the gym back and forth so I can see how their natural walking gait looks. And also definitely will get a feel for how strong they are in the first few sessions. And it really comes down to as well, like what their goals are. You know, some people are looking to lose weight. Other people are looking to get stronger. Other people are looking to get more flexible. Your case, you were definitely looking to get stronger, but also balance was super important to you. So it's about assessing their limitations and injuries in the past, assessing where they are right now, and then also asking them what their goals are for the future. So we try to cover all bases if possible.
Okay. And I know you work out with other seniors besides me.
Yeah.
Okay. And I also know you work out in group sessions.
Yeah. Small groups as well, yes.
Small groups, because I know that you and I work out with another friend
Mm-hmm.
once a week, and we're doing it through Zoom because of the pandemic situation that we're living
Right.
in now.
Right.
But you've worked out with us both for many years.
Yes.
So if I wanted to start working out with you right now, okay,
Mm-hmm.
can you still do that evaluation through Zoom or Facebook or whatever?
I mean, some of the things as far as asking them about injuries and limitations I can do, also asking them their goals. But as far as assessing them physically, there's certain things I can do. I mean, you can see quite a bit on Zoom, especially I connected to I have a huge TV in my home, 65 inches, that really helps me when I'm training people via Zoom. So I can have them maybe do a squat and walk towards the camera and back. But at the moment now, at least, gyms are open. Obviously, that could change in the near future, but gyms are open. So if people are comfortable coming in for their initial consultation, we can do that. And I would obviously wear a mask if they wanted, or they could wear a mask or both. But yeah, we can do it online, just as everything else, not as effectively. Nothing's as effective as in person.
Okay. Well, I have a personal friend who lives in a completely different area of the state. And
Mm-hmm.
she was saying that the gym that she goes to, that they don't wipe down, and that's after opening up
Oh,
until,
really?
yeah,
Even after, oh, geez.
right. And so when you work out, if I came back to the gym, because I haven't gone back to your gym yet, okay?
Right.
So are you wiping everything down
Oh yeah, so much
after
I'm
each
starting to
client?
get calluses on my hands. Yes, we have right away. We have sanitizer available throughout the gym, and the nice thing about the gym I train in, Newport Beach, is that it is small and private. So some of the larger chain gyms, they can't really regulate how many people or come, maybe how many, but they're not seeing every single person usually come through the door, at least usually. And if everybody's sanitizing and wiping things down. My gym, there's never more than 5 or 6 people in it at a time. Everybody's socially distanced. We have sanitizers throughout the gym. I'm constantly wiping equipment with this commercial grade sanitizer that one of my catering friends gave me. So we're trying to keep it as clean as possible. We had the carpet professionally cleaned before we reopened. So so we're taking as many steps as we can to keep everybody safe, because that's part of being healthy, is keeping your clients safe.
Okay. All right. Now, what if I don't want to work out at a gym and I want to
Yes.
do something like bike riding or swimming or
Mm-hmm.
walking? So many
Yes.
people walk, okay? And how would I start a program? Say I'm really sedentary. I'm doing very little exercise, and I've been diagnosed with diabetes, or I
Uh-huh.
have a heart condition. So how should I start out that program?
Well, I honestly think you can never go wrong with walking. Again, we were made to walk, hence the legs. But and walking, people sometimes discount how valuable it is, and just walking 20 minutes a day is proven to help you live 1 to 3 years longer from people that don't walk every day or most days. Just walking can, again, strengthen your cardiovascular endurance. It strengthens your heart and lungs. Again, you're going to reduce body fat because you're burning calories, as opposed to being sedentary. And then also for seniors, it improves your balance. So walking would be probably number one, I would say that. And then you can always add little dumbbells in your hands. I'm sure you see sometimes people power walking with dumbbells, or change the terrain where the streets or the paths that you're walking maybe have some incline to them to make it a little more vigorous. So you really can't go wrong with walking, and you don't, for the most part, don't really need much instruction on walking, hopefully, unless you've had some injuries that have altered your gait that you might want to work with a trainer on correcting. But you can't go wrong with walking.
Well, I know one of my biggest complaints, as you know, my biggest parts of my, let me reword it. The part of my body that gives me the most problems is my knee.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
And I don't do walking because of that.
Right.
Okay. So
Right.
with that knee, what would you recommend? I know you and I work on balancing,
Right.
all kinds of
Well, it
balance.
depends on your knee injury. Like you have something where your knee is quite limiting. I mean, you say you don't, let's say, go out of your way to go walking, but I know your lifestyle, Janice. Before this pandemic, you were on the go and you were walking. You were probably getting in a good 3,000 to 5,000 steps a day. Whether or not you were aware of it, you definitely were walking. But yeah, for somebody, I mean, they have those classes that are, they call them silver sneaker classes that they have for seniors who have a hard time being on their feet. So you can do some exercises seated in your chair where and again, you don't even have to use weight. Sometimes it's just movement. So, I mean, something as simple as just an overhead press of just your arms, or even grabbing some soup cans or something like that. And then doing the same with bicep curls. There's a few things you could just do with upper body. Stretching gets your heart rate up a little bit if you're doing a good job of it. So just things like that I'd probably recommend. And
Yeah.
then, I mean, working with the trainer, there's always things we can do. You and I, we don't do walking in our workouts, but we do balance work and we work with weights. A lot of the machines don't really involve your knees, at least the ones that I do with you. So if you have limitations, there's always ways to work around it. It really depends on the person.
Yeah,
But
because
that's one of the good things about having a trainer.
each person is slightly
We
different.
figure it out for you.
Yes, definitely. And one of the things I have found with Drew is over the pandemic, I found he uses a step stool, or he uses my step stool to have me go up and down the step. And I do it with weights, I do it without weights, which is it's really fun. I'm lucky that I have some weights. The other lady that has joined us in that once a week training session, she's up there, she's got gallon bottles that she's using.
Right, detergent bottles.
Worked herself up too. So that's really
Right.
great. And then Drew has a way that little competitions that he has. He's got younger, like the caterer he was talking about, and somebody else. We have a competition in who can beat Janice in doing crunches. And I love that.
I know you do. You get off on that.
Yeah, I love being able to do more crunches than them, especially when they
It's
are.
it's one of my best motivational tools with my younger clients. I say,
Right.
come on, Janice does 50 of those. You're only doing 40 and you're complaining? Let's go.
Yeah. And
That's awesome.
I happen to know these people also.
Exactly.
Yeah, on a personal basis, I know them. So it's really fun, especially when they're young enough to be my own child. Okay.
Right, exactly.
Or grandchild in some cases. Okay. But if you're doing walking, is that helping you with osteoporosis? Because I know osteoporosis, I thought it was weight bearing that would be able to help improve
Right.
that.
So walking actually does help somewhat with osteoporosis, because your body weighs something. So you are putting stress on the bones of your body when you walk, even more so obviously when you run because of the greater impact. So yes, walking by itself will have some effect on bone density, but in general, if you're really looking to make a marked improvement, you want to get some sort of weight training program, because the extra weight on your body, it stimulates bone forming cells in your bones and helps to make your bones more dense.
Okay. Which is really important as we get older. Doesn't matter if you're, I know women seem to talk more about osteoporosis than men do, but they also would have that same problem.
Well, one of the biggest challenges that seniors face is obviously we talk about balance, and a lot of seniors, if they're not working on their balance, or even if they are, sometimes they fall. And I can't tell you how many people, seniors that I've heard about, who have fallen, broken their hip, and I'm not familiar with each person's specific training program, but a lot of times those hips can break because the bone density is not really up to snuff. And once, I'm sure you've heard stories, once somebody breaks their hip, it's almost at an older age, especially, it's hard to really get back to a really high quality of living, and it can ultimately really be dangerous. So, because it just makes you more sedentary when you break your hip. It's hard to come back from that. So that's why bone density is so important.
Right, and because I know hips and shoulders, and lots of times if you break them, you leads to having to have surgery.
Absolutely.
And the older you get, it's harder to recuperate from those surgeries.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you went right into my last question. And
Oh.
again, I wanted to talk about balance, and you did some of that already.
Uh-huh.
If I want to ask you, because we're about running out of time right now, okay,
Mm-hmm.
for this session. If you want to come back later on, let's say a month or 2 months from now, and talk about the next step, where to go with exercising, we'll
I
be
would love
like
to.
to do that. Right now, what I'm going to do, thank you, Drew, for coming. I'm going to put up how to contact Drew or myself. Okay, hold on. There it is. There is Drew's information. Drew is located in Newport Beach. I think he's worth making that drive too.
Yeah, tell everybody where you come from, Janice. By the way, how long a drive do you come from? I meant to mention that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
How long do you drive to come to see me? Like 40 minutes or 35 minutes?
Sometimes it's 35 to 40 minutes to come see you. It's
That's
worth
why
it.
you're one of my favorites too.
Right. And I love working. I love that we can do it work out on Zoom, or we use Facebook. And I think I've had just as good as sessions.
That's what you've told me. Sometimes you said you thought it was harder.
It's been a little bit harder. There's less distractions.
That's funny.
But then there are distractions. So there's Drew's information and how to contact him. He's also on Facebook. I know I've seen him doing training sessions on Facebook for group people, which has been really great. He's really adjusted to the pandemic and working with it. Also, here's the information on how to contact me. So thank you very much, Drew.
My pleasure.
And I know I'm going to see you tomorrow at 12:15.
I'll see you then.
Yes. And
thanks everybody for joining us.
Thank you all for joining us this morning. I know we had another personal trainer on there this morning watching this. So
Great.
Thank her for coming on.
Awesome.
And have a great week. Next week, we're going to have Dr. Amber Faltinko is going to talk about the immune system and how the immune system can affect the rest of the community that we live in. And Drew also knows Dr. Faltinko. So
yeah, awesome.
we call her
Dr. I recommend you guys tune in for that.
Yeah, we call her Dr. Amber. Okay. All right, Drew, thank you. I will see you tomorrow.
My pleasure.
Have a great day. Thank you.